wearer. Could Joseph of Arimathea buy a linen cloth on Passover? Mark 15 says that after Jesus had died, Joseph purchased a linen shroud and wrapped the body of Jesus in it before laying him in the tomb. However, skeptics assert this could not have happened on a festival day, which was Passover. Not only that, it was the evening, meaning the sun was setting, and once the sun set, it would have been the Sabbath, and you definitely couldn't buy and sell on the Sabbath. Also, John Loftus says there would not have been enough time to perform the proper rituals. Mark says when evening was approaching, Joseph asked for the body. It may have taken some time to see Pilate. Then Pilate had to verify Jesus was dead. Then Joseph would have had to get the body, get a linen shroud, get Nicodemus who provided spices, take him to the tomb where he would have been buried, all before the sun set when the Sabbath would have begun. So the argument is, it is likely Mark made a mistake, or Jesus was actually crucified a day or two before Passover. However, this objection is easily met by looking at what the Pentateuch actually says about working on festival days, as well as what other sources claim. First, Dr. Brant Petrie notes there are simply no other 1st century or 2nd Temple period sources that ever say buying a linen shroud on Passover, or even on a Sabbath, was not permitted. The only 1st century source that admits such a practice is the Gospel of Mark. So you cannot presuppose Mark made an error when there are not any other sources from that same time period who contradict this notion. The Gospels are not guilty until proven innocent. Second, if you read Leviticus 23, there is actually a distinction between a regular Sabbath and a festival Sabbath. On a regular Sabbath, you are not permitted to do any work. However, on a festival Sabbath, you are not permitted to do regular or laborious work. And that is vague as to what it means. E.P. Sanders points out there was a debate among early Jews on what you were permitted to do on a festival day if it fell on or close to a Sabbath. And some argued you were required to do certain tasks in order to carry out festival requirements. Tree cites a later source that seems to agree with Mark. In the Mishnah it says, one may go to the Shabbat border before nightfall in order to attend to the affairs of a bride or of a corpse, to bring him a coffin and shrouds. In other words, there was some leeway or additional time permitted if you were attending to the business of a bride or the affairs related to caring for a corpse, specifically if it related to obtaining a coffin or a shroud. So the act of Joseph buying a shroud seems to fit just fine with the cultural context. Dr. Petrie says, if preparations for the dead could be made during the solemn rest of a Sabbath, then a fortiori, they would have been made permissible on a feast day. The same points hold true for the removal of Jesus' body from the cross and the subsequent entombment. This is easily explained, even on a feast day, as obedience to the biblical command that anyone hanged on a tree must be buried the same day. Also, if Jesus died around 3 p.m., evening would have been the time period between then and around 6 p.m. when the sun set. If we reduce that time and say Joseph didn't even obtain the body until around 5 p.m., that still probably would have been enough time to purchase a shroud, prepare the body, and take the body to the tomb. Especially if Jewish law allowed a little additional time by permitting one to go to the border of the Sabbath before nightfall to attend to the affairs. We don't know how far the tomb was